You don't have to lay it on so thick, Casey. Tell me what you need, then I'll tell you if I'm willing to help.
A pump flow regulator. A tower patrol founded by Memorial Lane in the Garden District. It's just another useless piece of junk to them. The problem is there's...
Stepping away for a bit.
Take care of your business. I'll wait.
Continue.
All right, let's get back to it. A pump flow regulator. A tower patrol founded by Memorial Lane in the Garden District. It's just another useless piece of junk to them. The problem is there's a potential showdown brewing over there between the patrol and a reclaimed camp. It could get bloody. Quickly.
What else? I like to be fully informed before putting my ass on the line.
Fair enough. What do you want to know?
Why are they fighting?
You know, resources, territory, two opposed ways of thinking, butting heads. I mean, from everything I've been hearing on the radio the last couple of months, bad blood just keeps getting worse. Look, I'm staying out of it, but I can feed you more details if you want.
How do they operate? What do they believe in?
The tower is disciplined, committed to community. Everyone has to contribute to the cause. They must be doing something right. I've heard they have close to 1,000 people inside their walls. Tower folks are fiercely loyal to their way of life. Maybe even to a fault. A bunch of loose cannons in the reclaimed. It's hard to know what they're up to most of the time. Their tactics are all about surprise and intimidation. Guerrilla warfare mentality. And they love creeping the tower people out. Weird rituals and stuff.
I need a second.
Take care of your business. I'll wait.
He's literally the only guy.
All right, go on.
All right, let's get back to it.
Who's running the show for each faction?
Mama leads the tower. She founded the community. I don't know much else about her. She stays out of sight. Her right hand, her enforcer, is Georgia. She's out there on the front lines daily. And from what I hear, she's a hard ass. Not afraid to mix it up. Get her hands dirty, you know? The reclaimed rally around this guy named JB. And no clue what it stands for. He's always proselytizing over the airwaves. Frequency 54. Denouncing the tower. Saying they're already dead. It freaks me out a bit, but there's no denying he has charisma.
What's your take on all this?
If the fighting keeps up, this city's gonna explode into an all-out war. The tower maintains some sort of order, right? I mean, they offer some sort of semblance of safety, sure, but they don't hesitate to toss people out if they question authority. Once the tower kicks your ass out, there's no return. It seems cruel, but I don't know. Maybe that's the way it has to be. The reclaimed are eccentric. Let's put it that way. But JB really knows how to motivate, get people to buy into his vision. Maybe they're crazy, maybe they're onto something, I don't know, who knows. They are inspired, though. Always going on about the liberation to live, not just blindly following orders to barely survive. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're both a bit fucked in the head.
I've heard enough info on the conflict.
Okay, sorry. I know I can ramble sometimes.
What's the area like?
The Garden District was one of the wealthiest areas of the city, so, you know, no surprise it avoided most of the flood damage. The folks hit hardest by the flood picked it as a spot for a memorial to victims. And 2 weeks later, when the dead started walking, the whole city was a damn memorial.
I'm ready to do this.
The pump regulator is a piece of industrial equipment, about the size of a coffee maker. Pipes, switches, knobs, you'll know it when you see it. Now, the Tower Patrol has it at their camp. Red House on Memorial Lane. And remember, reclaimed are nearby, so you might get caught in the middle of a scrap between them. Now, once you have it in hand, Hustle back to the radio and contact me. Time is not on my side. If you pull this off, I'll spill everything I know about the reserve. You have my word.
I know Omri is dead, and I know that for the time being you've stepped into his shoes, whoever you are. I am not in the habit of trusting people these days. Trust gets you dead when it's given to the wrong person, and there's a lot of wrong out there. But I am willing to set prejudice aside for a few moments so we can have a little chat, see if we can work together. I'm assuming you scored a few useful things out of that last tower.
Stop playing without me, pig.
There's more where that came from. As long as nothing happens to me. Understood? Get yourself to the churchyard. I will unlock the gate so you can reach the area. Stay out in the open. If I am satisfied you are alone, you will see me. Don't get used to meeting like this. It's a rarity.
I understand. It's almost impossible to know who to trust.
All right? Then we're on the same page. I'll get to the point. Why are you helping me?
Henri trusted you, so that's good enough for me.
Were you two friends?
I wouldn't say we were friends. I liked the guy. He presented a genuine opportunity, so I went for it.
Henri definitely had an eye for opportunity. Well, may he rest in peace. You got some curmudgeonly shoes to fill. I'll point you to tower caches with useful supplies, and you get me the intel they contain. Sound like a deal?
Maybe. But I have a question first. The tower seems to be after you and your daughter hardcore. What's that all about?
You spotted those posters, huh? You wanna go there? All right, I'll give you the basics. I used to be with the tower. Now I'm not. We don't see eye to eye. I'm in the right, they are in the wrong. That's all I got for you now.
Yeah. I'm on board.
Good. Glad that's settled. Take this drawing. There's some intel at the location in the drawing. When you have it, leave it for me at the usual spot.
What's with the drawing?
My daughter Umbra has a gifted eye and a gifted hand. It's her way of staying sane. She's watching right now. Probably documenting this exact moment. Or maybe she's just sketching a dead cat. I'll never know.
Did you figure out what all the guns do yet, Pig?
No.
Darn.
What about you?
I think they shoot bullets.
It's too violent for me.
I only play family-friendly games.
There are several zombies between me and the exit here. That's not what I was hoping to have happen.
I could be watching this. Zombies.
Okay, you need to stay on that side of the van. I need to figure out how to get back. Where am I going? You're where I need to go.
How do you not walk into a wall every 5 seconds?
I do walk into several walls. Okay, I need to go. Oh, I can sneak through here, I think. Yeah, learning the controls here was definitely this is a dead end. The controls are definitely unique in this setup.
I mean, just in general in VR, like, if you have to keep walking one direction.
Oh, my physical walls in the room here?
Yeah.
So this is joystick movement. I don't have to walk with my human feet.
And is that all games? Or?
They're all there. I've played several different ones. Some of them are basically you don't have to move at all. You could sit in your chair for that matter. Others you do walk around the play area, and I definitely punched my dresser several times when I first got this.
Same.
But the controller's sitting intact for now, so that's good. Others so this is kind of a hybrid. I could play this sitting down. It seems to work better standing. Why is he in my tunnel? Oh, here, I got a beer bottle. All right. Get back to my base, which is through this tunnel, which is zombie occupied. Hello. Okay. I can use skulls for crafting. Oh, goodness. But yeah, there's definitely an element of like managing your room, your position in the physical room. If you imagine having a tiny mouse pad and trying to play the first-person shooter, the effect is similar. You have to like stop for a second and manage your physical real estate.
Sounds annoying.
It is a bit annoying. This is why the dream is to have you get the 4 total sensors, and you set it up in a giant empty garage or warehouse or something, and you have like 30 square feet to run around in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you really want to do.
Just a warehouse.
Yeah. There's a city in Colorado that is giving away free land for non-residential use. So we just need to buy one of those like pop-up warehouse things, and then charge people money to come play VR in the warehouse, and then just play it ourselves all the time.
Sounds good. I'm in.
All right, let's do it. See you tomorrow. Actually, the I don't know. It's not Flagstaff. Flagstaff is a totally different city. It's something like Flagstaff, but it's eastern Colorado.
Flagstaff is in Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. It's not Flagstaff though. It's a Colorado city.
Ah, I see. Flagstaff is pretty.
I've heard nice things about Flagstaff. If it wasn't on our way home from California, the one time we went south instead of through the Rockies, then I haven't seen it. Memorial Lane or Old Town?
Yeah, it's in between here and California as well, I think, if you're taking I-25. Or I can't remember which one goes east and west and which one goes north and south.
The even numbered ones go east and west.
Oh really? So it's I-40. It goes east and west. I see. Yeah, I-40 and I-25 meet in basically the middle of Albuquerque. And it used to be like this dinky little like overpass or whatever, but when I was a kid they constructed the Big I. It was like gigantic. And now that's how it is.
It's amazing how things change when those the stretches of highway that are perpetually under construction, when they're actually finished. You know, you come back 7 years later and go, wow, they finished what they were doing, and now it looks very different.
It seemed to happen quite quickly in my kid brain, like.
Yeah?
But it must have been over quite a few years because it was a massive construction project.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's possible for those big highway constructions to be done in a short time frame. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, it's something. I didn't really have anything like that before. I actually just found a picture of it under construction. And then obviously keeping the highways functioning while they're doing all of that.
Yeah. That's
quite
what slows it
undertaking.
down, right? Because people also need to drive while you're working.
Yeah. Albuquerque has grown quite a bit since I was a little kid. Definitely miss some of that.
Albuquerque growing?
I miss like it being a little bit smaller, or seeming that way when I was a kid, I guess.
Oh, sure.
Well, probably wasn't that small, but
I was gonna say, was it genuinely smaller, or your circle of awareness was limited?
I've never pictured Albuquerque as a big city, but I guess it's up there. I don't know. Like population-wise,
Yeah.
just never seemed like a big city to me.
I mean, some places are better about that small town feel or whatever.
It's definitely a bigger city. Never felt that way to me. Like the one time I was telling you, and you said this was just Denver, but Denver seemed like way harder to navigate in general.
Denver proper, yeah, is not
Yeah.
nice to drive in. The
But
lack of actual
it's-
north, south, east, west alignment doesn't help.
It's also just I know my way around Albuquerque because I've lived here my whole life. Like,
Sure.
So this is just my home, so it's easier to. Yeah, the last time I went to Denver, I would have been totally lost without a phone. Like,
Yeah.
Completely, because I was on Quebec Street. I think I told you this last time at a not a Dollar Tree, a DoubleTree hotel there, and they had like these one ways that just were miserable. Like you had to go so far out of your way to end up on the other side of the street going the other direction.
Yeah. I had an experience about that in Sacramento. I think it was Sacramento. I'd driven a bit in Southern California
Mm-hmm.
and didn't remember having those kinds of issues. Oh wow, there's so many zombies.
Just must be the big city, like, new place thing, because Denver, well, I don't know if it's that much bigger population-wise. It just feels so much like there's way taller buildings all over the place. Albuquerque feels like a small town, I guess, in the fact that, like, our downtown area is where there's the tall buildings, and then there's barely any. Like, it's further spread apart, and then, like, we don't have, like, a huge downtown district where big buildings. It's a smaller area. Denver is like, holy smokes, there's like, just driving down the highway, you know, they got the Broncos Stadium and all that. Like, there's just a lot of big buildings, it seems like to me. And I'm just probably exaggerating it in my head from
What's definitely changed from just in the last, I guess, from the 60s, there was much less vertical structure growth. And a lot of old historical buildings, and there's been, I guess, kind of a conflict between people who've lived here and like the old Denver, and people who are trying to get more things happening here, like they need office space or whatever, or they want a new apartment complex to support the stuff. We also have, so it's interesting the differences between like Denver and then Colorado Springs, which is it's also a very large city, but it's much more
towny.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If they miss the old Denver, they should just move there.
Yep.
Colorado Springs is.
Yep. Well,
basically that.
There's some aspects of rivalry between the towns. And they have very different political ideologies.
Yeah.
In general.
I've heard a lot about Colorado Springs. I've also heard a good amount about Boulder as well.
Yeah.
And I think I had a friend who lived in Boulder. And it's like more of a hippie town kind of deal. I think same with Colorado Springs. Like Colorado Springs is a little more liberal oriented, or was it the opposite?
It was the opposite. So Colorado Springs is actually kind of Colorado generally is a very outdoorsy.
Yeah. But in terms of like.
But yeah, Colorado Springs is much more conservative.
I see. I got it backwards.
Yeah. And Denver's, as with many large urban centers, fairly liberal, but Boulder is the liberal hippies. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that a lot from my buddy who was in Boulder. He was just big time stoner and all that, and everybody around him seemed the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good place for it. You got the nice nature all around you. You got college town and everything.
I'm just looking at I haven't been outside of. Wow. It's been a really long time since I drove to like the other side of town in Albuquerque, because I live pretty far from like the main metro area. Like,
right.
I don't live on the outskirts or anything. I still live in the city, but on the west side. So
how could he be so dense?
I haven't seen the downtown area or the uptown area or anything like that in, geez, more than a year now. And it's just on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at some of these pictures now, and they've actually changed. So I don't know if you've seen Breaking Bad, but
I haven't. It's on our list. It's a long show. It's a big commitment.
It is. It's amazing, but I loved it so much more just being from here. It was like the most exciting thing that's ever happened, in Albuquerque. And you're looking at all the areas you grew up in and hung out in, growing up, and it's on the TV. It's pretty big deal. But they added this rapid transit system, ART, Albuquerque Rapid Transit.
Nice.
Down one of this stretch, not so nice. I'm trying to get to that.
Okay.
They added it in this area of Route 66 that was like really old timey, like down Central, and basically gentrified. Is that the right word? Gentrified. The area, like it's just not. And like it did kind of look like shit before, but like
I'll clear out
they
quick.
tried to modernize it. It just doesn't.
need to recover
it doesn't look
some.
the same. It doesn't have the same feel.
Yeah.
Probably
Like, I
useless
grew
to
up
you.
with this old
Mind
timey
if I
kind
take a
of
look
feel
around?
going up
Yeah,
in
we
that area.
mind.
It was
We
kind
have
of
enough
ghetto
problems to
looking,
deal
but
with
it
right
had,
now.
it had
Not
something
gonna let
to
some
it.
stray scrounge on our turf.
They tried to modernize it and had this little lane in the middle of the road where like only the buses go and all of this. And I haven't used it, so I can't speak to its effectiveness. But it seemed just like a big money sink, like something to do with the mayor had some hands in somewhere to profit from it
Sure.
being built, something along those lines.
Yeah, not necessarily in public interest. Maybe something else going on.
So the reason I brought that up after Breaking Bad is like a couple of areas where they filmed the show are just look quite different now, and yeah, don't have the same feel to them anymore. So yeah, everything looks quite different now.
Whoa! But now you have Breaking Bad. You can go back and relive those memories.
Absolutely, and there's, funnily enough,
Maybe I'm
I
the
don't know if this
solution.
has changed
what?
since the last time I
Yeah,
looked,
you
but on
might
Google
prove
Maps,
useful.
you can do the
My
street
brother's
view,
in some deep shit.
and you can go down
After
that
the
street,
train
and it'll be the
started,
old
snatched.
view, and then you
Anthony's a
turn
good kid,
into like one of the
bit
side
dim,
streets,
but he
and
doesn't
it's like the
deserve
new
whatever
view
those
all of a sudden. It's really
things
weird. So you're like
can't
going
get
back in
anywhere
time
near
for a
them.
second. It looks
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
you know, like how it used to, and then all of a sudden, oh shit. It's like,
They'll gut him immediately if
looks
they
different.
see us coming.
This is one of the things I
They don't
did with the
know
VR
you.
set. You've got Google Maps in VR, which is kind of fun to
After
just
that,
wow,
play with in terms of controls. But so, of course, I went to
personally, I'd bring
my old neighborhood in California and tried to see if I could remember how to walk from, because I used to walk to campus for the
Right,
first
right,
couple
right.
years of college. So I tried to walk back home, and for like the first half of the trip, it was fine. I was like, wow, this is like a longer trip than I remember. But, I know the gas station, the McDonald's, you walk across the interstate. I forgot about that. Walk past this church on the left, and then I just said, did I miss my turn? None of this looks familiar anymore, but stuff has just changed.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
some of the pictures were newer and older, so it was a bit jarring there too. So this looks exactly like it did when I left, and this is just brand new. I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah, it's strange. I think it's weird. A lot of the old neighborhoods I used to drive around and stuff.
How did
high
he
school.
get caught?
Like I said, he's stupid. Cocky, too.
Yeah.
Not a good
Different time, man. I'm just like,
Telling him he needs to toe
that's
the line. Tower brass.
like not my
doesn't
childhood. I was
appreciate
already
recklessness.
big grown up.
Maybe
by
this
then,
whole
but
situation will
growing
teach
up,
him a hard lesson.
just used to go driving around to the different parks.
Sounds like I can be of service.
troublemakers,
Yeah.
Get to it then. Knowing how those
Stuff you
savages
do when you're
operate,
kids.
you might not have much time before they execute him.
I definitely miss a lot of that. The one thing though that is kept intact mostly is Old Town, where basically like the city started, I guess.
What was he
and that,
thinking? These are people who have
the
chosen
one
to be
beautiful
savages,
church
not
in I don't know what it's
rational
called.
people, not people who understand and appreciate what the tower is accomplished.
It's the Old Town Church in Albuquerque. It's just like incredibly beautiful. Inside is San Felipe. That's the name of the church.
Is it like an old mission church or just something that was built?
It's a Catholic church. My family's Catholic, so I've actually attended church there
Nice.
before. And it's just one of the oldest buildings, I guess. It's proven to date to the Spanish colonial period. So,
Okay. Yeah.
holy shit, I can't believe I've been inside that building. Built in 1793, it says. Good grief.
Wow.
So very, very old. It's obviously been renovated, I guess, since then. Or, maintained and all that. But,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's actually not too big for how it was. And I remember hating it because, little kid likes going to church.
Sure.
It was just
Yeah.
miserable.
Go
But,
sit still and listen to somebody talk not to you.
Yeah,
For an
on
hour.
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like, I could be watching cartoons or, playing games or whatever.
Sure.
And all that. But, quite beautiful. And my family used to, I think, attend there. When they were kids, my mom and all that. Because she grew up in a section of the valley that was near Old Town. Like, just basically up the street. And, a lot of history around there on the Bosque. It's right by the river as well, the Rio Grande.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know, just giving you too much information. But
No, it's interesting because my family was never really, and my wife's family as well, never really built a history in any particular location. I guess my parents were both from other areas of Southern California, but they moved elsewhere, and then my whole family moved to Colorado later, and I moved elsewhere in Colorado, and I don't know that I would necessarily. Well, I got a fair enough amount of family here now, so I'll probably stick somewhere in the state. But having people kind of like stick in the same relatively close proximity is always kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think for quite a few generations, all of my family has always lived in New Mexico. My mom's family in Albuquerque, and then my dad's family in a small town in southern New Mexico called Carrizozo.
You end up
Like
building a lot of.
population of maybe 600 people.
Oh wow, that is a small town.
Place. Yeah, really small. So I've actually, it's really funny because I grew up in the biggest city in New Mexico, being Albuquerque, most of my time, and then I'd spend summers sometimes in my grandparents in Carrizozo, which is the complete opposite. Really small town.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of both, I guess, like a little bit of small town life growing up, and a little bit of city slicker kind of thing.
There you
so
go.
I don't really.
We're a well-balanced individual.
Somewhat. I just, I consider myself just to be New Mexico native. True and true, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about just up and moving anywhere else, I guess. Not that I was ever presented with the opportunity, I guess. If I was, I don't know how I'd feel, but, my family still lives here. So,
Right.
And all their family still lives here. So, if I went anywhere else, I'd be pretty far away from anyone I knew, really.
Yeah, there's some inertia kind of built up with that many people in the same spot. It feels weird to go anywhere else.
Yeah, anytime. I think my sister lived in Arizona so briefly, and then she had moved back here. She lived there with my aunt, and then she moved back here as well. They all just were like, yeah, Arizona's not the place, I guess.
I mean, if you're looking to go elsewhere, I don't know if Arizona's the place I'd pick.
Right, exactly. It's quite similar climate-wise.
Yeah.
If not hotter.
Right.
There. So, but I think culture-wise, they might seem similar, but I don't know. I haven't been to Arizona or known enough people from there to really, I guess, pass judgment. But I think of New Mexico as kind of the small-town version, I guess, of Arizona, and they're like the big city folk. They got Phoenix and Tempe and a lot of big metropolises. Like
sure.
In comparison.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing in this building here. Am I supposed to be in this building? Is this the right spot? The zombie's gonna get me. There's definitely a
Colorado.
zombie.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm just muttering about the zombies who are gonna jump out of the corner and scare me here any moment.
Sorry, I must be distracting you.
No, go ahead. What about Colorado?
I was just gonna say it's really pretty. I think that would be my next best option. Instead of anything like Arizona would be Colorado. Just
yeah.
In terms of it being pretty and mild climate, like the snow happens in certain places, but
yeah, when it usually melts relatively quickly, which was a selling point for me. I'm not. I was looking to get away from the
snow.
Yeah. I was looking to get away from the Southern California summers, but I wasn't really looking for like Midwest winters or anything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And Colorado's a nice compromise. And yeah, it's a very pretty place.
Lots of moisture that way as well, compared to here, just really arid, at least in Albuquerque.
I think most of Colorado is considered an arid, or what is it, high desert?
Oh yeah, Roger, yeah. Then it'd be pretty similar to here. I think you guys do get more, like, just precipitation overall, however, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think
how it works with the mountains because
yeah, being at altitude is beneficial, I think.
we get the same, but it's like I think the way it works in Albuquerque is we're pretty much in a valley between the Sandias, which is part of the Rockies, I'm pretty sure, like the mountain range that goes south all the way through.
Oh, okay, sure.
All the way through South America, I think, right? The Rockies go from. We've probably talked about this before.
Maybe
The mountain
not.
range itself goes quite far up and far down as well.
I don't think I knew this.
In any case, we're basically in a pocket where it's like the moisture just. By the time it gets to us, there's nothing basically.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because on the east side there's mountains, and on the west side there's these big volcanoes, which are basically mountains. They act as a shield for all
Right.
that. So any of the east and west stuff, we don't really get any of that. But I think we get some of your leftover, whatever, storms and stuff like that from north.
Yeah, I would be reluctant to move like much further east unless I was going really far east, because the tornadoes start kicking in not too much east of where we are right now, actually.
Really, I didn't know that part of Colorado was in that area.
Yeah, it's not Tornado Alley or anything, but we do get the occasional tornado. Like there was one that was actually just pretty close to. My sister worked at one of my sisters worked at DIA for a while at the airport, and she was. They weren't evacuated. They had to go into the storm shelter, the tornado shelter, at one point because there was a tornado close enough that they could see it. So maybe we'll go hide for a little bit.
That's scary. Yeah. It's actually where I went and was the Denver airport. I took who I was bringing there to catch a plane there, because basically international flights from Albuquerque are just impossible, or there's basically they don't exist.
Okay. Yeah.
The best thing to do is to go to Denver if you want a cheap flight.
Yeah.
Because just routing wise, more things are going in and out of Denver. Not very many people are coming to Albuquerque,
Right.
So but I guess I brought that up. That big terrifying statue you guys have that has a horrifying story surrounding it.
There's no reason for it to be so terrifying, and it's disconcerting that they. So you're in kind of a tough spot, right? Like the sculpture's already sort of unattractive, and then but you've commissioned it, so you're kind of like, all right, well now we have it. What do we do with it? And then the guy who's making it dies making it because it crushes him to death. So now do you say, oh, sorry it killed you, but we don't want it anymore? You're kind of stuck with it, right? You gotta keep it.
That's true. It is kind of like a scar or something, so to speak, that you have to bear. I guess at this point, you can't just up and leave it. I mean, it wasn't that it was like ugly. It was just I already knew the story surrounding it when I saw it. I had heard it plenty of times before.
Right.
I think I had actually drove by there at one point when I was a kid or something and seen it, so I was already quite familiar with it. But it's something. I'll tell you what. What was amazing to me was that gigantic highway they have connecting Denver to the airport. It's like the airport is just like in its own.
It is very
area
separate.
all the way over there, and so I was driving to the airport. I hadn't done that before, and I was like, "Am I going the right way? Like this just keeps going and going." And obviously I knew because there's signs that say, airport.
Right.
This way, keep going. The airport's this way. But I was still just like, wow, it's really all the way out here. Kind of in the middle of nowhere. And then to get back to the city, to go back to where I had to basically do the drive back all the way through because Albuquerque was back the other way,
right.
on the other side of the highway. So quite something. It's just a lonely highway.
There is. How long ago was this?
2 years ago, almost.
That's not that long, I guess. So it may not have changed that much. But they've got there's a bunch of residential construction going on over there.
Oh, really? So they've along the highway, you mean?
So
in
I-70
close proximity.
Yeah. You probably came, if you were going east, you were going on I-70, and that's not that much more populated, but immediately north of the airport, like in that, because you're kind of driving through nothing for a while there, right? So the nothing just north of I-70 is no longer nothing. It's actually a fair number of houses.
I may have seen that then. It may have been like kind of developed there because it wasn't. I was maybe exaggerating, but you know, once you got out there, there was nothing. But I think on the way there was that one town. It was like not Denver anymore, but it was in Denver. I can't remember the name of it. It started with an A or an E or something like that.
Aurora is east.
Yes, that's the one. That's the
Yeah.
one. So that was like in that direction. kind
Yeah.
of, Like from where I was staying in the hotel.
Yeah.
And we passed through there, and that seemed like a really nice area of the city.
North Aurora is quite nice. South Aurora is one of the worst neighborhoods
Pretty sketchy.
around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I see. I wasn't too familiar. I think.
Well, Aurora's pretty big too, so the stuff you can actually see from I-70 and like, I think I know where you were probably at. You were in that. That is a nice area right there. It's basically, it's kind of halfway. It's halfway between Denver itself and then the airport essentially, and you're kind of in your own little area. And I think they were looking to do some differentiation between themselves and Denver, and I think they did a good job of it because it's nice. It's a nice town. But it goes much further south, and it gets pretty seedy.
Ah, I see. I can't get my directions sorted for like where we were, because I don't know if you know where that Quebec Street is exactly, or that DoubleTree where.
I could probably find it
I was saying.
on Google Maps, but I don't know offhand.
Let me see. I've only just looked it up on maps myself to get myself. Because it was nice, but then like there were these neighborhoods like right behind our hotel that they weren't. It didn't look like a bad neighborhood, but it was like so quiet for some reason. Like it was eerie in a way, like really dark, really quiet. But I almost didn't feel safe, like because we were walking through there. Like couldn't tell you why. We were just walking in this strange city that I had never been before. But yeah, it was interesting. It was like really nice, and then it seemed like I was just a stone's throw distance away from not so nice area as well.
East Colfax also has a reputation. Wait,
I'm sorry?
I turned off my VR. My mic isn't working. Oh, my mic probably is working, but it's that mic over there. Hold on, I can't hear you. To Discord, nope.